Hey everybody, this is Daniel at TTB Tamer. In this video we'll be going over the different categories of beer that the TTB defines in their report of operations, and we'll be taking a look at how beer flows inside of TTB Tamer through different types of inventory. This will cover about 90% of all breweries and brewpubs, but if you find that your process is a little bit different, please feel free to email me at daniel@ttbtamer.com and I'll be happy to go through your process with you and help you out. The TTB has 5 different inventory categories for beer, depending on where it sits in your process. The cellar category is for beer that is in your fermenters or wooden barrels or other aging tanks. Racking bulk and bottling bulk categories are for beer that is being carbonated. Racking bulk is specifically for beer that will be going into kegs, and bottling bulk is specifically for beer that's going into bottles or cans. And then finally there are finished kegs and cases. In a typical production brewery setup, there are fermenters, bright tanks, and then kegs and cases. When you make an entry in TTB Tamer under the question, how much beer did you produce? This amount is entered directly into your cellar inventory. Then, when the beer is fully fermented and you're ready to start carbonating, you make an entry under the question how much beer was transferred to racking bulk, or how much beer was transferred to bottling bulk, and this amount is transferred from your cellar into racking bulk or bottling bulk inventory. Next, when you're done carbonating and you're ready to keg or bottle, you answer the question how much beer was racked to kegs or how much beer was bottled and canned. And then this will move your inventory from racking bulk or bottling bulk into kegs or cases. And then lastly, when you sell kegs or cases, you mark these under consumption or sale, and this is the amount that is taxed. I often get asked about unitanks and if this equipment changes anything inside of TTB Tamer. And the short answer is no, it's pretty much reported the same. Your unitank serves as both a fermenter and a bulk tank. So when you answer the question how much beer did you produce, this inventory goes directly into your cellar. And then when your unitank switches uses from a fermenter into a bulk tank, you answer the question how much beer was transferred into racking bulk or bottling bulk. And then this cellar amount is transferred inside a TTB Tamer to the racking bulk or bottling bulk inventory. And then everything else is the same. When you are ready to keg or bottle or can, you answer the question how much beer was racked to kegs or bottled or canned, and then the inventory flows into kegs and cases. And then same as before, when you remove this for consumption or sale, this amount is taxed. The process for a typical brew pub is quite a bit different. Typically there are only fermenters and then tax determination tanks or serving tanks. So when you answer the question how much beer did you produce, this goes directly into your cellar. And then when you transfer this beer to your tax determination tank or serving tank in order to carbonate, you answer the question how much beer was sold from the cellar. Because this beer never leaves your brewery, you don't need to go through the extra step of racking the beer to a carbonation tank or a bulk tank. Let's take another example using the keg as your tax determination tank. So beer enters your cellar when it's produced, like typical. And then when you're ready to carbonate and transfer to your kegs, which are actually your tax determination tanks, you answer the question how much beer was sold from the cellar. Again, because this beer never leaves your brewery, for TTB classification purposes, the beer never leaves your cellar. Even though you use kegs, you don't have to make an extra step to move the beer to a bulk tank and then move the beer from the bulk tank to kegs. It can go directly as sold from the cellar. Let's take a look at one more example using a bright tank for carbonation. In this situation, beer enters your cellar inventory like normal, and then after fermentation, you transfer it to your bright tank for carbonation. Because this beer is never distributed outside of your brewpub, the cellar category is never changed, even though beer is moved into a different tank. So no further entries need to be made for this transfer. And then lastly, beer is sold from the cellar when it's transferred into a tax determination tank. This can be a keg or a larger serving tank. And then finally, no matter if you're a production brewery or a brew pub, everyone needs to make loss entries for beer that is lost due to trub, absorption from hops, spillage, or breakage. Make these entries from the categories based on where the beer is in the process. For example, trub loss from fermentation would be entered as loss from the cellar. Spillage during kegging or bottling would be entered as loss from wrecking bulk or bottling bulk. Use the batch history shown on the batches page. It is very useful for seeing what inventory remains and how much loss should be entered in TTB Tamer in order to zero out your inventory. And that's it. That's how beer flows inside a TTB Tamer. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me at daniel@ttbtamer.com. I'm happy to help out as much as I can. And thanks for watching.